What makes Kendrick Lamar different? What's going on, YouTube? It's Knox Hill, and we're back with our reaction series. So today, man, with all these talks, Drake running around, running around, talking about a round 2 so soon, doing some trolling, doing some posts on social media, I thought, you know what? Let's dive into a track back in the catalog of Kendrick Lamar and one of his greatest songs. This has been recommended for a while. You guys want to see me break this down and analyze it, and let's look at the artistry and what really separates Kendrick Lamar. This right here, right now, is none other than Pride. But before we get any further, listen, if you like the hat that I'm wearing, you like the shirt that I'm wearing, knoxhilldmv.com. Go cop yours, guys. Support the channel directly. Get the brand out there. It really, really does go a long way. I'll put all links down there so you can support. But anyways, know what we're here for. Kendrick, step back up to the plate. Let's see what you got.
Love's gonna get you killed, but pride's gonna be the death of you and you and me and you and you and you and me and you and you and you and me and you
I just love how these different harmonies just kind of reverberate through the mix. They rise and they fall with the beat and with the production itself. And simple line, playing off of idioms that we all know, right? Love's going to get you killed. Pride will be the death of you. But what's interesting is the way that this is set up, right? Let's talk about the mixing on this, and then I want to talk more about the symbolism. I love when you go acapella because you can hear just all the different layers to the vocal mix and what's stacked, you know, just different harmonies, highs and lows, just sandwiched on top of each other there.
But pride's gonna be the death of you and you.
And then you just hear off to the side, love's gonna get you killed. And right after that, there's this little sort of vinyl crackle, right? This record crackle that just adds kind of this old school nostalgic vibe to it and just gives it a different type of feel. Like this art is just cutting through time right now. And then the lines, but pride will be the death of you and you and you and me. I take it as like pointing to all kinds of different people. Like love is just going to affect one person. It's going to get you killed. You're going to fall in love. When it goes wrong, love's going to get you killed, right? Because we all do foolish things for love. But the ultimate folly, I take the interpretation as, is pride. Because that has more of a nuclear, more devastating effect. Because pride can not only lead to your own death, but to so many others. Because pride has gotten in the way so much in our world. And pride can lead to brash behavior and anger and actions taken that are not taken out of love. I take pride as the more dangerous of the two and the greater warning. But what's interesting, though, is that, you know, you have love and pride. And does pride get in the way of love? Can we truly love if we're so full of self-pride? Can we possibly love someone else and sacrifice for someone else? You see how pride is a barrier to love. But what's interesting is, at the end of the day, if you think about it in the way that he sets it up with the juxtaposition, we're dying either way. We're getting killed no matter what, right? Love's going to get you killed, or pride's going to be the death of you. You can pick your poison. And you just see the way that we're kind of dangling between the light and the dark to start this off. You know, simple sing-along lyrics, but then you start thinking deeper about it and why he positioned them in this way and what it truly means. Let's keep it rolling. You hear more of that record crackle now as it fades out. I love how that just cascades to different sides of the mix, but I wasn't taught to share but care. You know the saying, sharing is caring? Well, in this case, he's taking another popular idiom and saying, and he's flipping it in a different way, right? Just care, just have empathy. But don't share yourself, what you're going through. Nobody wants to hear about you and what you're dealing with.
Hell raising, well chasing, new worldly possessions. Flesh making, spirit breaking, which one would you listen? The better part, the human heart, you love them or dissect them. Happiness or flashiness, how do you serve the question? See, in the perfect world, I would be perfect world. I don't trust people enough beyond their surface world. I don't love people enough to put my faith in man. I put my faith in these lyrics, hoping I make a band. I understand I ain't perfect, I probably won't come around. This time I might put you down. Last time I ain't give a fuck, I still feel the same now. My feelings might go numb, you're dealing with cold thumb. I'm willing to give up a leg and arm to show empathy from. Lady parties and functions are you and yours. A perfect world, you probably live another 24. I can't fake humble just cause your ass is insecure. I can't fake humble just cause your ass is insecure.
I love that line. I can't fake humble because your ass is insecure. We always teach in society now, like, no matter how successful you are, we want our celebrities to be humble. But in this case, to get to the level of success that a lot of these artists get to come through the hate, to come through the negativities, you have to have an immense degree of self-confidence and self-belief. So where does humility fall into place in that and overcoming? And you have to have a little bit of ego to rise above it all and to deal with it. Just a great line towards the end there, but let's break down more of these lyrics, man. I love Kendrick Lamar's style of writing, right? Because it's sort of a combination of worlds. You get the metaphorical writing and the symbolism of, let's say, an Aesop rock, but it's not like crazy metaphors and symbolism stacked and stacked and stacked, and you could take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers in different ways, right? There's enough mixture of that sort of symbolic metaphorical writing, but there's also, you know, more just typical MCing and storytelling and narration that it gives you. And then sometimes he mixes in his punchlines, and sometimes he'll just, you know, sprinkle in the rhyme schemes, but he does a good job of kind of, to me, balancing those different worlds of the metaphorical and the symbolic with the more literal lyricism.
Early possessions. Hell raising, well chasing, new worldly.
Hell raising, well chasing. I just love the internal schemes already.
Possessions. Flesh making, spirit breaking, which one would you lessen?
Flesh making, spirit breaking, which one would you lessen? Would you lessen the spirit? Would you sacrifice your morals and your soul on this journey of life? Or would you lessen your health, your physicality, and the world of the flesh, and all these worldly possessions that we are given as we pursue money and items and luxury and greed?
Worldly possessions, flesh making, spirit breaking, which one would you lessen? The better part, the human heart, you love them or dissect them.
The better part, the human heart, you love them or dissect them. Again, he's got the internal A rhymes and then the external B rhymes, right? On the dissect them, right? Possessions, those are the externals. And then he taps in back to the internals. But the human heart, you know, some of us share, other people want to tear that down and dissect what's going on within our own hearts.
Which one would you listen? The better part, the human heart, you love them or dissect them. Happiness or flashiness, how do you serve the question?
Happiness or flashiness? I take that deeper, right? Are you truly happy? Or are you just sharing to the world that you're happy and you want people to just acknowledge your success and your happiness, right? Happiness or flashiness? Because if you're truly happy, you don't need to really be flashy with it. You don't have to show it off. Because again, you have that self-confidence. And where does pride come into the equation and stand in between it all?
In the perfect world, I would be perfect world. I don't trust people enough beyond their surface world. I don't love people enough to put my faith in man. I put my faith in these lyrics, hoping I make a band. I understand.
I put my faith in these lyrics, hoping I'll make a band, a stack of money, versus like putting it into these lyrics, making a band with the sound and putting a band together. Love that line.
Faith in man.
And there's a lot of this tie-in. So in between pride comes this material surface level world and this deeper world of the heart and of the soul and of the spirit within. So you have the shallow and the physical and the external and then the internal, and sort of this battle between the two throughout. And this is the theme throughout the album.
Put my faith in these lyrics, hoping I make a band. I understand I ain't perfect, I probably won't come around. This time I might put you down. Last time I ain't give a fuck. I still feel the same now. My feelings.
I love when he says push you down. He literally like drops down a little bit in terms of his pitch and level.
Might put you down. Last time I ain't give a fuck. I still feel the same now. My feelings might go numb. You're dealing with cold dumb. I'm willing to give up a leg and arm to show empathy from. Pity parties and functions of you and yours. A perfect world, you probably.
Pity parties and functions of you and yours. I love the cold thumb line before that though. You know, like giving someone the cold shoulder because you've been through so much pain and trauma. And this is Kendrick, you know, just revealing and being self-aware. He's been through so much. He's given the world a cold shoulder. But in this case, it's a cold thumb because think about it. Nowadays, he's not checking in on his homies. He's not checking in on his people. He's not responding. He's giving them a cold thumb in terms of just being there and being active.
From pity parties and functions of you and yours. A perfect world, you probably live another 24. I can't fake humble just
live another 24. Could be 24 hours, but also like making it to 24. And there's a lot from his community who wouldn't make it past 24. You know, you get in your late 20s and you're an OG on your block.
Your ass is insecure. I can't fake humble just cause your ass is insecure.
Even like the me and just the way it's kind of held out, it kind of like starts back here and just like rises. It's almost like a wailing, like this crying of the soul. It makes me think of just the way that it's all delivered, and it kind of comes to the forefront and rises and then it fades back away. It's got a little bit of sort of that whispered, you know, tendency and cadence and intonation to it.
Maybe I wasn't there.
Again, you got to think about the instrumentation and the beat style, right? This is not a typical rapper's beat. This is a lot slower, a lot pacier, right? It's got just some of those classic jazz vibes, just the way that things come in and out, sort of classic drum kit percussion on top of it all, right? But Kendrick Lamar finds a way to just weave between this world of rapping and singing and harmonies and bring it all together with his art.
Perfect world, I probably won't be insensitive. Cold as December, but never remember what winter did. I wouldn't blame you for mistakes I made or the bed I laid. Seems like I point the finger just to make a point nowadays. Smiles and cold stares, the temperature goes there. Indigenous disposition, feel like we belong here. I know the walls, they can listen, I wish they could talk back. The hurt becomes repetition, the love almost lost that. Sick venom in men and women overcome with pride. A perfect world is never perfect, only filled with lies. Promises are broken and more resentment come alive. Race barriers make inferior you and I. See, in a perfect world, I choose faith over riches. I'll choose work over bitches. I'll make schools out of prison. I'll take all the religions and put them all in one service, just to tell them we ain't shit, but he's been perfect, world.
Should tell him we ain't shit, but he's been perfect, world. Like, it's almost more of a sort of conversational tone, you know, very dropped down how he's rapping with. Great lines in this.
Know the walls, they can listen. I wish for mistakes I made December, but never. Now in a perfect world, I probably won't be insensitive. Cold as.
Now in a perfect world, I probably won't be insensitive. Cold, and then he ties in cold with winter and temperature. He's got a nice setup and scheme here.
December, but never remember what winter did. I wouldn't blame.
But never remember. See, this is his perfect world because he does remember winter and he remembers the cold from that. And you know his theme of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, like hurt people, hurt others, and continue that cycle of trauma and generational trauma being passed on. In this case, you see the seeds of it here, right? The cold winter and him going through that cold. And then that makes him cold in retrospect, and how he treats the world and views it in others.
Now in a perfect world, I probably won't be insensitive. Cold as December, but never remember what winter did. I wouldn't blame you for mistakes I made or the bed I laid. Seems like I point the finger just to make a point nowadays.
I love that flip on point, that wordsmithing, right? It's like I point the finger to make a point. Don't we all? It's so much easier to blame others for our circumstances than to hold hands up and take our own responsibility.
I made or the bed I laid. Seems like I point the finger just to make a point nowadays. Smiles and cold stares, the temperature goes there. Indigenous disposition, feel like we belong here. I know the walls they can.
Indigenous disposition feels like we belong here because we've been here. We're indigenous to this environment. Love that line.
Indigenous disposition, feel like we belong here. I know the walls they can listen. I wish they could talk back. The hurt becomes.
The walls are listening. You know that saying? I know the walls. I wish they could talk back, because we all have this saying that the walls, if these walls could listen, the tales they could tell. Well, in this case, these walls go deeper because he represents these walls symbolically as the racial barriers that we put up. And then the race conversation gets entered into the second verse. We'll see it later on here.
Alone here. I know the walls they can listen. I wish they could talk back. The hurt becomes repetition. The love almost lost that.
The hurt becomes repetition. Why? Because he's been hurt and now he passes on that hurt. That repetition continues.
Men and women overcome with pride. A perfect world is never perfect, only filled with lies. Promises are broken and more resentment come alive. Race barriers make inferior you and I. See it.
Race barriers make inferior of you and I. That's the walls, the race barriers. But also he's introducing pride yet again into all of this. The central theme throughout this is that it all comes back to pride, the celebration of the material world, the corruption of the spirit, the division within our society between people, and letting pride get in the way. Pride thinking that somehow one race is superior to another race, or even the hurt and the trauma that we go through, and us being filled with such pride that we can't take responsibility, that we're broken and seek help. We have to point and blame others, and then because of that, it leads to anger and resentment and more lies, and we continue to feed the fire, and the wheel of chaos and destruction continues.
Perfect world, I choose faith over riches. I'll choose work over bitches. I'll make schools out of prison. I'll take all.
I like that line too. I make schools out of prison. Feeling like we're trapped in a prison, but also, what's the point of prison, right? You want someone, if they end up in prison, to come out and to be able to contribute to society and be reformed and to educate them. Our prison systems do not do that. You know, more times than not, people will get out and they realize they don't have opportunities. And then what do they turn to? Things that they already know. They turn back to crime and things that they learned in prison because of the way that the prisons are run and set up.
Riches. I'll choose work over bitches. I'll make schools out of prison. I'll take all the religions and put them all in one service just to tell them we ain't shit, but he's been perfect, world.
We ain't shit, but he's been perfect. To me, that he believes in one entity, like a God. Even though there are some religions that believe in multiple deities, but he's kind of implementing, still his pride's getting in the way there because he's implementing his own worldviews on that. But he's also alluding to the fact that religion is another wall and another separation barrier. And then pride gets in the way of that as well. My religion is superior to your religion. There's the pride. I don't know, it's harmonic, but at the same time, it's kind of bone jarring, isn't it? It's like living in a daydream, but we know that that daydream is poison, and there's a darkness and a shadow underneath of it. That's just my interpretation of this song and what this makes me feel. Drop down on that last bass note to end it. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? You know, for me, this is a perfect encapsulation of the artistry of Kendrick Lamar and what he brings to the table in terms of the sounds, in terms of the sonics. Like he's never afraid to push boundaries, to push what a MC is supposed to do and be in terms of how he approaches his albums, how he approaches his concepts. But you get these amazing themes and this exploration of deeper ideas, such as pride and how it relates to him, the individual, but also how it relates to society. Kendrick Lamar, you were Knox Hill certified. Hope you guys liked today's video. Listen, for some reason you're here at the end. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. Do me a huge favor, support the channel directly. Subscribe, notifications on. Really does go a long way. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay positive. It's only Knox Hill. Oh yeah, knoxhillmusic.com. We got hats, we got shirts, new album you can pre-order, all kinds of goodies, all kinds of good merch on there. Support the channel, get the brand out there. It goes a long way, guys. I'll put all links down there. All right, I'll catch you again.